Hi, I'm Ming. I'm from Team Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, and today, me and Mingchu are going to examine a proposal that claims the housing crisis can be solved by replacing all parks and green spaces with government housing. We, the negative team, believe this statement is false. Cities absolutely need more housing, but the real question is how to provide it without removing the very spaces that make urban life healthy and livable. To prove our view, we focus on 3 key points. First, why this policy isn't necessary. Second, why it ends up being counterproductive. And lastly, why it would be extremely difficult to implement in practice. Our first argument is that this policy is unnecessary because the housing crisis is caused by mismanagement, not a lack of land. Bulldozing parks is a blunt, ineffective solution that ignores the real problem. Cities already have vast amounts of underused land that could provide homes. In Vietnam, over 18,000 resettlement apartments in Hanoi and Ho Chi Minh City are abandoned or underused, and projects covering 347,000 hectares are stalled, poorly due to legal and administrative bottlenecks. The proposition plan doesn't solve the housing crisis because it ignores why so many land remains unused in the first place: bureaucracy and outdated policies. In our country, developers must navigate over 9 agencies, 30 official stamps, and wait nearly 3,000 days to license a commercial housing project. A project, even if built on green spaces or parkland, will still face the same barriers. So the housing shortage persists, except now we have also wiped out invaluable green spaces. In short, the crisis isn't a lack of land but mismanagement, and until that is fixed, destroying parks will achieve nothing. Our second argument is that the proposed plan is fundamentally counterproductive. It destroys the very purpose of housing, to provide people with safety, stability, and a livable environment. The moment you eliminate parks and trees, the city's environmental balance collapses. Studies show that removing part of the urban tree canopy causes air temperatures to increase almost immediately by 1 to 6 Celsius. For every 1 Celsius increase, disease-related mortality rises by roughly 2.1%, and overall illness by 1.1%. Now consider the scale the proposition is proposing, converting all park and green spaces into concrete housing. The plan exposes residents to severe health threats, which is the opposite of what housing is meant to achieve. The newly built units are essentially housing in name only, as they do not offer safety or stability. By making districts unlivable, the plan forces those who can move to flee to the few remaining green neighborhoods. This sudden clustering drives up rents in those areas, squeeze supply, and displace lower-income citizens. Thus, the proposition exports the housing crisis outward, leaving the overall problem worse. Their core failure is producing unsafe, low-quality units and escalating rent pressures elsewhere.
Our third argument is that the proposition plan is unrealistic due to overwhelming public opposition and insurmountable legal barriers. Parks are the heart of urban life, hosting cultural events, daily gathering, and exercise. For example, Central Park in New York City and Thống Nhất Park in Hanoi are not only visually iconic, they also define a city's identity and character. Destroying these ecological and cultural landmarks would eventually trigger a massive political backlash. Civic movements worldwide have a track record of successfully blocking park development, meaning that attempting to convert all urban parks would face resistance on an unpredictable scales. Beyond public opposition, parks are legally protected. In South Korea, the Act on Urban Parks, Green Area, etc. virtually bans construction. The European Union's Habitat Directive forbids the destruction of protected green areas. The United States has environmental review laws that compel court to halt projects significantly harming public parks. This legal and environmental protection make large-scale conversion nearly impossible. Even if authorities attempt to proceed, they would face protests, litigation, and decades of delay, stalling the project indefinitely. In short, the combination of public opposition and legal constraints renders the proposition plans an unfeasible solution to housing crisis. In the end, this proposal fails on every level. It misdiagnosed the crisis as a land shortage instead of systemic mismanagement. It produced more homes that compromise safety and livability, and it is unfeasible due to public opposition and legal barriers. Replacing parks with housing doesn't solve the crisis. It destabilizes cities, harms public well-being, and offers no workable solution.